Is a group of vampires called a gangrel or a bruja? Respect if you get that reference. Today's video is going to be all about vampires. I think there's going to be a healthy amount of vampires in specifically Magic the Arena, because you do get quite a few in the welcome. Not only the welcome decks, you get the Eternal Thirst, which is the deck, but you get a good number of vampires in your collection. So let's take a look at what I've put together here. All of these cards come with the collection day one. You don't have to wait for a deck. You don't have to do anything special. I think you're going to get this entire collection right away. I put in there 2 Moment of Triumphs. This is just to be used for a combat juke and to pump up Ajani's Pridemate. It's a 1 casting. Target creature gets +2/+2. There is an arena-specific card where a target creature gets, or target blocking or blocked creature. It's not as good. I like this one because it gets you life gain also. And I threw in 2 copies of Skulduggery, which is awesome, just for the name alone. But until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+1, and target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1. This is a cool block juke to remove 2 creatures. It works out pretty good. Hopefully I'll get a chance to show off what I like to do with it. 4 Ajani's Pridemates, 2 casting 2/2. Whenever you gain life, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Ajani's Pridemates. This is a life gain deck, so this works out beautifully in here. 3 Bishop's Soldiers, a 2 casting 2/2 with lifelink. 2 Martyrs of Dusk, it's a 2 casting 2/1, also a vampire, and Bishop's Soldier is a vampire. When Martyr of Dusk dies, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. A Paladin of Atonement, a 1 of, just because we only have 1. It's a 2 casting 1/1 at the beginning of each upkeep. If you lost life last turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Paladin of Atonement. Whenever he dies, you gain life equal to his toughness. Now, this isn't a great card, but he's in there because he's a vampire. 2 Legion Lieutenants. If you spend the wild cards, you could get 2 more and throw in 4 of these pretty easily. Might be a pretty smart move, but for now I have 2, and we'll just see how the deck plays out. 1 Dawn of Hope, just because I have it. Actually, you do not get a Dawn of Hope in the welcome deck, so that's 1 card I did add in here that I just luckily got somehow and threw it in there. 4 Skymarch Bloodletters. This is a supremely terrific 3rd turn combo when you do like a Pridemate and then a Skymarch Bloodletter. It's hilarious. 4 Skymarch Bloodletter, yeah, it's a 3 casting 2/2 with flying. When he enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. 4 Murders, for 3 you destroy target creature. Why not? You might mix in like some cast downs maybe, but I like Murder because it's non-descriptive and they just die. 2 Ravenous Chupacabras, 4 casting 2/2. When it comes into play, destroy target creature and opponent controls. A Sanctum Seeker for 4. It's a 3/4. Whenever a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. A Twilight Prophet. I would love to put 4 of these in here, but I only have 1. It's a flying, and if you have the City's Blessing, it ascends to reveal the top card of your library during your upkeep. So you draw an additional card, basically. You reveal it. Each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is that card's converted mana cost. Do not attack with your Twilight Prophet. And 3 Calls to the Feast. Create 3 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink. This is just for like the overrun factor. It's kind of cool. Epicure of Blood. This guy's amazing in this deck. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. And you can see the combo with Sanctum Seeker. Whenever a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life, and then they lose 1 more life just for attacking with your with your feisty vampires. Is pretty good combo. I love that one. And then the Vampire Sovereign. There's 3 of these. A little high. The top end's a little high in this deck, but I don't mind. It works out pretty good. When Vampire Sovereign enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. Pretty good health swing. It's a 3/4 with flying also, and flying works out pretty good. 7 plains, 11 swamps. 4 of the tap lands, so whenever Forsaken Sanctuary enters the battlefield, it's just tapped. And then the Dominaria Isolated Chapel. I would do 4 of those if you have the money for it. Cool, well let's check it out. Let's see how it plays. Hopefully we can sneak away with a couple of good wins here. It's a pretty fun deck to play. It's got a few ways to sneak around and get some wins. Don't forget to subscribe for all the cool updates that I do. I try and show how to play this game on a budget rather than all the awesome cards. hopefully when I do the big box opening soon, I can show some decks with all the awesome cards. Cool, so this is a decent starting hand here. I can get into some, at least a Martyr of Dusk, and hopefully I can get one more land and then do a Skulduggery. That's a lot of fun. Let's see what our opponent's doing. If he just leaves and I get a win, I'll be happy with that. Though, my quest for the day is to play land, so I'd like to play a couple of lands at least. It's a difficult choice to play a forest. You know, he's like, do I or don't I? So I'm going to do my Martyr of Dusk on turn 2 rather than Ajani's Pridemate on turn 2. Because I always want my opponent to use up some removal on not my Pridemate, so I want my Pridemate to live. Just in case he's got a Rabid Bite, and he Rabid Bites my Martyr of Dusk, with, or maybe he plays something. I don't know, he's playing very slow. This is... I'm pretty patient, but this is how I get tilted sometimes, where it's like, it just goes so slow, and alright, and if he attacks, I will go ahead and block because I want the lifelink more than I want a Martyr of Dusk right now. And they're both vampires, so it doesn't matter. It'll be a while before I get to ascend with the Twilight Prophet, so that's definitely something to think about. He might be playing that starter deck, the enchantments one. Okay, so check this out. I'm going to do a Skulduggery. Before combat, because I don't want him to block and gain and net gain life. He'll still lose his creature, but check this out. So Skulduggery, my Martyr of Dusk, and against his Highland game, and he dies. How funny. And then I can roll into a Murder, or even a Twilight Prophet next turn. That's pretty early for a Twilight Prophet, and they're kind of a target, so I don't know if I like that idea or not. I've got other options, though. I could drop a Bishop's Soldier. He's got 4 land, green and a white, 2 white and green, so he's got enough land to cast everything. I wonder what he's waiting for. Okay. So I'm not going to murder it. I will wait for some more life gain for a bigger Pridemate. I'm okay with that. And if he's got some flying removal, he'll have to use it. That's totally fine with me. That's good. I like that. So now I've got 2 life linkers and a murder, so I can sneak my murder in there. Attack with my life linkers, pump up my Pridemate. Doesn't much matter what kind of creature he drops. If it's too scary, I can murder it. There's not a lot of card draw in this deck, except for Twilight Prophet. So I want to be careful with how I do this, because I really need that City's Blessing. With this Plains right here, and the Twilight Prophet, that would put me at 9 permanents, and you need 10 to get the City's Blessing. So if I draw into another 2-drop even, okay, well that's my murder target right there. You cannot have a Sarah Angel floating around. I would welcome an attack by that Centaur Courser. That would be great. Perfect. So I don't need to block. I can take 3 and then my life gain will get that life right back. So I'm not at all worried about my life total. with everything. Get our health back. Get a super Pridemate. And now you're going to see what'll happen with this combo, Twilight Prophet and a Pridemate. He'll lose life, I'll gain life. My Pridemate's going to get pumped up. It's pretty amazing. He could seal away. Hopefully he doesn't have a seal away or a Hieromancer's Cage. Though if he should use it on the Pridemate, I would be in good shape, because that means he doesn't use it on the Twilight Prophet. There's only one Twilight Prophet in the whole deck. And he might save that Centaur for a blocker if he's in trouble. It's hard to speculate with what's in his hand. His deck seems like it's sort of all over the place with a Highland game. This is... I mean, unless you're playing a starter deck, you don't see Highland games. I think he's got the Sarah Angel in there. So, and that's a Dominaria. You don't... Did those come back in Core 19? I can't keep it all straight. I think they did. So this deck feels a little bit janky here. If he's got a seal away and didn't use it because he's trying to be creative with it, that would be a bit of a misplay, because he really should play. And now I don't want to attack into something heinous. So if he's got like a Titanic Growth, it messes up my City's Blessing, and that's more important right now than sneaking in for 2 or 1 damage. So I'm not going to attack. I'm also not going to play my Martyr of Dusk in case of some removal. I don't have to play him just yet, and I'm not worried about having a bigger board state, so we'll leave it for now. Plummet would suck. This is so weird. Blanchwood Armor is for mono green. You want that to go on a trample creature when you have nothing but 7 forests, not these dual lands and plains. That does not fit in your deck, buddy. This almost looks like he's playing a weird version of enchantment, the Satyr enchantments deck they did. That's okay. Actually, I can probably beat him without even attacking anymore. I'll take 4. I'll take 6. I don't care. Now our Twilight Prophet goes to work. We draw a Sanctum Seeker. He's going to lose 4. I'm going to gain 4. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So I'm going to drop my Sanctum Seeker. Whenever a vampire I control attacks, each opponent loses a life, and I gain a life. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with just my 2 vampires, my 2 lifelink vampires. He's going to take 2 again. my Pridemate, whatever. He's a lost cause because he's got the Luminous Bonds. But my opponent still takes 2, I gain 2, and both of these guys lifelink. It's so terrific. Now this is if you get your Twilight Prophet and Sanctum Seeker. There's only 1 of each of those in the deck, so this is kind of rare. Go for it. You knock off that little vampire soldier thing. I want to drop my Martyr of Dusk just because I want to make sure I keep that City's Blessing up. And now the other thing is, when I drop Skymarch Bloodletter, he'll take 1 and I'll gain 1 life. So he'll be at 5. He'll be at 5. And then if I just attack with these 2 next turn, he'll go down to 3. Just all I have to do is attack and he goes down to 3. If I draw a card with any kind of mana cost, if you draw land, your Twilight Prophet just serves as extra card draw. So that's not an ideal scenario for it. But if I draw anything with any kind of casting cost, it's in my favor. That's terrific. The Poison's Wind. He's got nothing. And I think the real power of vampires is that I don't have to worry about this attacker at all. I can take 8. I've got all the life gain going on. It's going to take a whole lot more than 8 damage. So it's a plains. That doesn't do much for me. And a swamp. That's no idea. We'll attack with all 3 of these yeah, we'll do all 4. They're all 4 vampires. So he takes 4 damage right off the bat, just because I attacked. And my Pridemate, sure, buddy. You keep growing. If I had Epicure of Blood out right now, the game's over, because he takes 2 damage every time I attack with a vampire. He can't possibly block. I win the game. Vampires are so much fun. Of course. And let's see if he makes another block. It doesn't matter. It's over. We've won. How terrific. And you can make this deck. Like day 1. I mean, gosh, pretty much day 1 in the collection, you can make a deck just like this one. And I think this deck gives you the best chance to win right away. There are better decks, certainly, if you craft them and spend wild cards and, you know, throw down some either some money or some gold in the game, you could make them. But just with the cards that you're handed, I think this is the best one you can make. And we will see the value in spending gold on packs here pretty soon when I open the box of hard-earned gold on packs. That'll be fun. I hope I don't get disappointed with a bunch of junk. That's possible. Ooh, this is a slow hand. Bloodletters and Sovereigns are my only plays, and that's a 5th turn play right there. If I keep it, I'm gonna draw into a couple of land. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna risk it. The way my mulligans have been going the past few days has not been in my favor. So the fact that I have a couple creatures, I'm gonna hang on to it. See what happens. And another green deck. Oh, this is risky. This play is always risky because they like to kill your Legion Lieutenants, and there's only a couple of them in the deck, so they don't come up too often. And with this hand, he's going to be so valuable. Oh, that's even slower. That is not what I wanted to see, but I get to attack. So next turn, my Bloodletters can go down, and there'll be 3/3s right away. With flying, he's not going to be able to do much about my flyers. So I like that. And if I draw land, hopefully I get some land. I can save my... well, that's also pretty good. I can save a land for a moment of triumph and juke down his Courser. No, I'm not attacking. Although having all this flying against a green deck, that's going to be nice. There's that. So now it's just regular flying. No blockers. No. I really need that 4th land. And then we'll Chupacabra. Boy, if he hits his land drops, oh boy, he's really smoking right now. I'm so glad it's only Centaur Coursers. He could be dropping Blayloth Gorgers and all kinds of niceties. Man, this is... okay, this is what we do. If I can get a land, I will Chupacabra that guy to pieces. That would be great. Is it time to block yet? I will take 5 versus 6, or I can... Moment of Triumph won't do a darn thing. I'll still lose that creature, so no blockers. Let's just deal with the damage and hope for a land. Thank you. Got the land. So now we Chupacabra down the aggressive mammoth. There we go. And we smack him real good. If he has a Titanic Growth, I'm gonna have to block. I have to block with the Chupacabra anyway. So he attacks with both of those guys, both these Centaur Coursers. I have to block because a Titanic Growth ends the game. You could have 2 Titanic Growths. That would suck. Ooh. Oh, terrific. Okay, I still got lethal. These are too expensive, these meteor golems. They're just, I mean, for 7. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and block. I don't need to be lower in health than I have to be here. And we're just going to send the Skymarch after him. 1 attacker. Moment of triumph. Here you go, buddy. Good old flying vampires for the win. And we'll do. And like I said, if you've been watching some of my other videos, you can see that I don't always win. I don't think it's right to just show the victories or you know, play through until I get some wins, because you're gonna lose. It's Magic the Gathering, you know. Losses happen, so it's nice to get some wins every once in a while. But like I said, this deck, the way they give you this collection of cards, this is probably your best chance to win. Multiple options with some good removal, or not. I mean, I could have held the Chupacabra if he didn't have creatures and played the Call to the Feast instead, and then had an army. There's more options, and I like more options. Ooh, this is fantastic. We are going to need to draw into some land, but this is a terrific start. Well, this is a potential starting hand here. If we draw 1 land in the next 2 turns, we'll be in business. You could see, so if this was the isolated chapel that doesn't come into play tapped, we would be off to a really tough start for our opponent here. I mean, this would be a really tough start. It's first strike? It is first strike, so we don't attack into that guy. No way. Well, that's gonna suck. Yeah, I'm not blocking it. Wow. Okay, so I've got to save the murder for Aurelia, obviously, or else the game gets out of hand for me immediately. At the beginning of combat, whether or not Aurelia attacks, another creature gets +2/+0, and well, trample if it's red, vigilance if it's white. And then, so he would put it on his Sunhome Stalwart. It's got Mentor. He gets. So I have to save murder, just in case he has that 4th land in his hand. So we got to play smart against this deck. This isn't going to be good here. Well, he can't. He doesn't have the red mana. Oh boy. He's Bane-firing my Pridemate. He tapped 1, and the guild... Okay. So he doesn't have the red, but I have to play it like he's... This is tricky. This is tricky. Okay, well... Let's do it. If he had the mountain, he would have played it. This gives me a 4/5 blocker. It's a little scary. Okay, that's terrific. Okay. Let's do our Twilight Prophet. And now, if he drops Aurelia, I'm still in trouble. I mean, it's going to be a big hit when he drops that Aurelia. That gives me 8 permanents at this point. Still not enough to activate the Twilight Prophet. One more land. And now, oh, thank goodness. Well, no, so he can still cast it, because he can tap for that mana. That's nice. Who does he give Vigilance to? He doesn't do the Knight of Malice, because it's not white or red. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. And both of these guys have first strike, so... Okay. Okay. So I could block with my Twilight Prophet and kill his Sunhome Stalwart. Yeah, he does see it. Okay, you're gonna murder right away. I'm not even gonna wait. And we're not going to attack with Twilight Prophet. We would hit him for 3. That's true. But the risk of seal away is too great. So we don't attack. There's only 1 in the deck. It's not worth attacking over. And 1 more permanent on the field gets me the City's Blessing. So I'm going to have to take care of Aurelia right away. Oh boy. This is stinky. So he could kill my Twilight Prophet with Ariel. Although I could juke it out with Skulduggery. So I could give it a higher power than... Okay. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try it. Yep. I'm going to take action. We're going to go into combat. We will... I'm going to attack with it. Breaking my cardinal rule here. But I've got to find a way to slow him down a little bit. And if this activates... There we go. Let's get the Pridemate a little bigger. I really want him to try and use Ariel to blow it up. This is a strange deck also. This is a 5-color deck so far. He's missing green. I haven't seen a green spell. Great. This is fabulous. Okay, I'm very happy about this. Swamp. So that's going to go down. Okay, 2 lands. Well, that's fine. I needed the swamp so I can cast Epicure of Blood and then a Skulduggery. So now watch this. We've got the Epicure of Blood down. We're going to attack with our Skymarch Bloodletter. Vampire's attacking, so he's going to lose 1 life. My Pridemate gets bigger, which I find terrific. And he's going to take 3. Oh, it's so good.
Key target,
And there's a mountain that comes down. This is weird. He's got to be playing 5 colors, right? Except for green, a 4-color deck. Well, I don't know. Which means he's going to have some of the mass removal cards in there. He'll have Cleansing Nova, which is coming. So I'm kind of glad I saved this Skymarch Bloodletter. There's a Justice Strike. Skulduggery's not going to do anything for me, but that's fine. You can Justice Strike. That's no longer my win condition. My win condition is Twilight Prophet. Combined with Skymarch Bloodletter and Epicure of Blood, this is just fabulous. Okay, Rogue's Gloves. That's good. That's fine. Colorless or a cast down. Oh, he's equipping the Rogue's Gloves. To Ariel. Is he going to attack with her? He is. Well, I'm going to block with my Pridemate. And then he's going to... Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. I don't feel like losing my Pridemate just yet, and he's tapped out, so I'm not worried about too much else right now. So I'm gonna Skulduggery. My Pridemate becomes a 6/6, and I just put the counter on 1 random creature, because it doesn't matter, he's indestructible. So making him a 5/5 doesn't do much. He does get to scry 1, but I don't much care. His Rogue's Gloves don't go off. He's got to do damage to a player, and my Pridemate's not a player, it's me, so Another swamp happens. That's not ideal. And Skymarch Bloodletter hits him for a net of 2. It's so terrific. And we are going to go ahead and attack with these 2, and that's going to be 8 damage. We win again. And he knows it. So, like I said, this deck's pretty good. I like it. Whenever I need wins, this is my go-to, just because it's pretty deadly. So, there's 3 quick games, 3 quick wins. Thanks for checking it out. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks or comments. See you later.